Hi, my name's Chaz Friend, and I'm a willow artist, tutor, and I've just made this little film to help take you through some of the processes that I go through when I'm making a sculpture. I quite often have conversations with people who ask me about the way I do things and how long it takes to make something, and people are often quite surprised by the amount of time it takes and the costs if they ask for a quotation for something like this. So I hope that this little video, probably poorly made, very amateur, but I hope it gives you a bit of an insight into my world, into my processes, into the struggles I go through from concept to getting something out. And basically I've only been doing this for about 10 years, so I'm still a young'un on the journey, and there's still a lot that I need to learn. But I hope you enjoy this little video as I take you through the steps that I went through in the making of Mary for a nativity display outside a local church near us. Well, hi, I'm down the yard at the moment, and I thought I'm just going to take you through some of the processes in the making of Mary. So I'm just down the yard where I do my welding, so I'll just turn the camera around a moment. This is where we've got now. So I've got the main spine in, the little skinny waist, and the front of the knees coming up to the waist there. What I'm trying to work out now is how to do the drape of the dress with a little bit of a curve down at the bottom. So I'm going to put those in position and then see how that goes. Well, here I am. This is as far as I've got. It's only 4:30, but I've had to call it a day because darkness descends, and where I do my welding, I've got no lights. So I'll be back tomorrow morning. Good morning. Here I am again. So down the yard in my little spot. I can't start work straight away because it's such a frost last night that I can't unlock the padlock until it's defrosted a bit. So I thought I'd talk to you guys instead. So now it's a bit lighter. Let's see where Mary's got to. So she's got a spine, shoulders, a few hoops there marking the body. I've got to get just one more in, I think, up there, coming up to the shoulders to define that space before I put on the head and add some arms coming out from here. So lovely little rural spot where I'm at. So you might have just heard the click clop of horses. There's tractors and farm machinery all around, and you can see the frost on the field. And you'll be hear some dogs barking somewhere because they're quite vocal around here. So once I get in my workshop and get my welder out, I'm gonna start bending that metal, getting it ready, and I'll show you the next stages when we get there. Catch you later. It's dinner time. Time for a quick update. Okay, so I've had a bit of a frustrating morning this morning. A couple of things. One was the shoulders were too far back. Had to cut off at the spine, put a bit of extra bend in that, put that back. I've put a little bit more of a curve onto the actual shoulders going across there. And then I've got the arms at the right kind of angle that I want. Put those in place. Brought up the last bit of the back up until the top of the neck. But I've had trouble with my welding helmet. It's got a bit of damp in it, so that's not working for me very well. It's stopping me from getting blinded, which is very nice, but it's not clearing when I stop welding, so it's difficult to see where I'm at with this thing when I'm working with it. So that's been frustrating. Was the frost has started to lift as the sun's come out. I've had lots of frost that's on the roof, been dripping down. That's what got the helmet wet in the first place. And it's a job knowing where to put down my angle grinders to keep them out of the rain that's been falling inside. It's just coming up to 4 o'clock now. It's been a cold day. Toes have been frozen all day long. Light is going, so I'm going to give up now. I hope to have got the welding finished, but we're not quite there yet. I've had a few hiccups today, a few things I've had to undo and redo. I've had trouble with the welding helmet that wasn't working properly. I've had 2 mole grips that are broken on me today. So it's just been one of those bit of a frustrating day. So I'll show you where I've got to. So here she is. So you've got the head in place now. That was a bit of an awkward one to get done. Made a bit of an error with doing the shouldering. I put these going straight to that bar going across the back there, which was of course the lower part of the shoulders, not the curve of the outside. So I had to redo that, take those out and put that in to keep the shape right on that one. So it's going to be tomorrow. Give her some hands, complete this area here, complete that gradient and bring the neck in. Not too happy about the way that line's working there. Might have to take him out and replace him too, but that's not the most efficient way of working, but this is the way I work. I'll try something out. I generally hold the metal against it until it looks right, and quite often I'll put it in and then cut it out and do it again. But my hope was that she'd be finished today, all the metal work, so I could take her home and spend all day tomorrow getting the willow into her. So I've had some willow soaking up there in the tank, ready to go. Problem is it's 6-foot willow and I'm not sure it's going to be the right willow for this particular sculpture. But as they want to install it on Monday, I'm going to have to move quite quick. It's now Saturday. I didn't manage to make any videos yesterday. It was all a little bit rushed. Things I had to do in the morning, so in the afternoon it was getting on well past dark by the time I finally finished. So today I've given the metal work, now I can see it, another clean up with the angle grinder, and there she is, finished and ready. So next stage is to start dresser in willow. So the types of willow I'm using for the skin tones, so that's going to be the hands, the feet sticking out the back, showing a little bit, and obviously the head. I'm going to use this buff willow, and then for the hair I've got some steamed willow, lovely dark colour. So I'm going to have that coming out from the back of the head. Notice there's this, if I just turn it around, there's this metal rod running down here. So the hair's going to come out and then it's going to go into a wrap like a pigtail, ponytail, and come around, and I'm going to use some wire in a couple of places to secure that on. So that should sit there and come out facing forwards like that. So for the hands and the feet there, I'm going to use the figure of 8 weave. See how that goes. This is one of those things that you don't know whether it's going to work or how well it's going to work until you actually start the weaving. So it's the transition points between one piece of one section of willow and the another that can cause all the trouble. So I'd originally soaked up some 6-foot red Flanders, but that's all way too big. So I've got the first batch of this year's willow sent out from my supplier from Musgroves, and that's looking absolutely beautiful. Love the color tones on that, and then as it dries out, it'll go sort of maybe a dark red, but over time it lightens up to this lovely warm kind of orange color. So the next time you see me, as it were, on video. I'll be working on putting all that willow in, and we'll have a little bit of discussion about how that's working and how that's not working. So I'll catch you later. Good morning. It is now Monday morning. It is a very cold, grey and damp December morning. My full day in the workshop here to get this all weaved up. I haven't got the fire on in here because I'm using a lot of buff sticks, which can dry out quite quickly, and the room heats up nice and fast. So I'm keeping it all wrapped up to keep myself warm. So just spent an hour on this yesterday. So that got the hands and the feet done, putting a good base on for the head. So I'm going to carry on today. So it's this bit that's going to be the tricky bit, working it down the arms, getting that natural, getting the joining points done, where the arms join on the body, and where the transition goes from the head material into the chest. So once I start working down the body with the red Flanders, that should be a nice straightforward weave. Now I enjoy that, so I'm going to do the difficult bit first, and I'll set the camera up for a time lapse so you can see that happening as the day goes on. It's now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I reckon it's time for coffee, so I'm stopping there for a while. It's gone pretty well. It's covering, keeping the shape reasonably well as I want. I had to put some more hair into soak, some of the steamed, because there wasn't enough to do the hair, so that should be ready by the time I come back for my coffee. Put that in at dinner time. Flanders is going on pretty well. Yeah, I think we're on track. So I'm going to go and have my coffee. I hope you're having one too. It's now 5 o'clock and I think it's time to stop for some tea. Just thought I'd just have a little look with you at where we've got to. So we're getting quite a good covering of skin onto the structure. So next things to do is the hair's not complete. It needs to have a greater density of hair. So I've soaked some more willow for that. So that will be ready soon to get on with that after it's mellowed for a bit. Body's building up nicely. One of the next things to do is arms. What I'm going to do first is still got some big gaps around the back here. So I've just got some of these 4-foots left that I've been using so far. They're a brown Flanders. That's Flanders that have already dried out and needed to be soaked to get them going again. So I'm going to use those first, and then I'm going to put a skin of this lovely fresh stuff on the top of that. So this is much finer, so it'll go in between the big gaps to finish her off. That's my hope anyway. A quick update. It's now Tuesday morning. Had a bit of an early start to the day, so I was down here at 5 o'clock finishing off the hair. The willow I soaked up yesterday was all nice and mellowed and ready to go. So I finished off the hair. Still could do with a little bit more density within the head itself for the hairline, but if I put any more willow in, the plait would be just so thick and fat, it just wouldn't work. So there she is, that bit's done. So next section is to start using the skinnier 3-foot red Flanders willow to build up the gaps in the bodywork and then build up the arms. So hopefully by tea time today, that'll all be Tuesday evening, and we're done. You know, you often kind of expect that when you finish something like this, it's taken the kind of time it would have, there'd be a sense of yes, elation. But unfortunately not. You have in your head this perfect image of what it's going to be like when you finish, and then when you finish it and you've done everything that you think you can do, you stand back and you have a little look and you think, actually that's not exactly what I had in mind. That isn't as good as it should be. And you stop seeing perhaps what you might have achieved in it, and you just start seeing all the little things that you haven't achieved in it. So when I finished, to be honest, I felt a bit disappointed. I think she'll do what she set out to do. She's going to sit in the nativity in the churchyard, and with everything around her, I think people looking at her will see, oh yeah, that's Mary. In all, it was 14 hours weaving all those little sticks in, one by one, and somewhere around 20 hours just doing the steel work. It's surprising how much time goes into doing these things, especially when you're a bit of a faffer like me and you do it and then you do it again and you take something out. And you thought, really, with all that time and effort, that it would be a little bit more perfect than it is. But that's it. There she is. And she's ready to go where she should be.
So there you are. There's my video blog explaining to you the processes and stages I went through in making Mary. But of course Mary wasn't on her own. There's a Joseph. So just following after this little video clip, there are a few photographs of the making of Joseph, of the armature, the weaved up sculpture, and then a final picture of how they looked in the stable in the churchyard in situ once it was all done and finished and delivered. So I hope you see from this video how much time goes into making these kind of things, and what makes sculptures made bespoke like this so expensive. So looking at all the hours that are spent on this, I think it worked out as over 50 hours altogether went into the making of this pair. So even at my basic commission rate of £15 an hour, the pair of them together with material costs would be 1,200 plus for both of these. So I'm very happy to do commissions for you, but you need to dig deep in those pockets for that to happen. So I hope that's given you some useful insights. We're coming up to Christmas now. The nativity is in place. People are getting a little bit jolly. So to you all, I say a really happy Christmas. Despite all the restrictions we're living under at the moment, I hope you have a really good time and that you experience some of the peace and joy of Christmas this year. God bless. Goodbye.